A major diplomatic and media firestorm has erupted as US President Donald Trump announced his intention to file a massive lawsuit against the British Broadcasting Corporation (BBC) after the broadcaster admitted to altering his words in a highly sensitive report. The controversy centers on a segment from the BBC's flagship investigative program, Panorama, which misleadingly edited a portion of Trump's speech from January 6, 2021. The edit, according to the BBC's own admission, created a false and damaging impression of the president's remarks on that day. In a fiery address to reporters, President Trump condemned the incident as fake news at its worst and declared he had no choice but to pursue legal action, seeking damages between $1 billion and $5 billion. He stated that the United Kingdom is very embarrassed by the scandal and revealed his plans to speak directly with Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who he also claimed was deeply embarrassed by the action of the state-funded broadcaster. The fallout from the controversy has already had significant consequences within the BBC, triggering the resignation of its Director General and the head of news. Trump praised the whistleblower who exposed the deceptive edit, accusing the BBC of cheating and actively making news rather than reporting it. While the BBC issued a formal apology for the misleading edit, it has rejected any claim of defamation or the need for financial compensation, setting the stage for a protracted and high-stake legal battle. The incident has sent shockwave through the global media landscape, with UK officials urging the broadcaster to take immediate and decisive steps to restore public trust while fiercely maintaining its editorial independence. The confrontation adds a new and explosive chapter to the ongoing tensions between President Trump and major media organizations, which he has long accused of biased and corrupt reporting. This legal challenge threatened to scrutinize the editorial standards of one of the world's most recognized news sources and could have far-reaching implications for media accountability and the relationship between political leaders and the press. In a chilling echo from one of Europe's darkest modern conflicts, Italian prosecutors have reopened a deeply disturbing case from the Bosnian War. Centered on allegations of so-called human safaris, the investigation is examining claims that wealthy Europeans paid exorbitant sums, reportedly up to $90,000, to gain access to Serbian sniper positions overlooking the besieged city of Sarajevo. These alleged trips provided a horrifying form of war tourism, allowing visitors to observe and, in some accounts, actively participate in attacks on the civilian population during the city's brutal 4-year siege. The Milan Attorney General's office, working in close collaboration with the Carabinieri's specialized anti-terrorism unit, is meticulously reviewing old intelligence files, wartime travel records, and the testimony of journalists, aid workers, and former soldiers who were present during the conflict. The primary objective is to uncover the scale of this macabre tourism and to determine if any intermediaries based in Italy facilitate these gruesome excursions. A key challenge for investigators will be to ascertain whether any of the alleged participants can still be prosecuted for war crimes decades after the atrocity took place. The reemergence of these allegations has cast a renewed spotlight on the extreme brutalities of the Sarajevo siege, a period where its citizens were subjected to daily shelling and sniper fire. The case raised profound and disturbing questions about the depths of human indifference to suffering and the moral vacuum that allows for the commodification of violence. Investigators are hopeful that this new probe will finally identify those who organized and took part in these alleged human safari operations, bringing a measure of justice to the victims of one of the most harrowing chapters in recent histories. The reopening of the case serves as a stark reminder that the wounds of past conflicts remain open and that the pursuit of accountability, no matter how much time has passed, is a critical component of healing and historical justice. Tensions in the Caribbean have soared to their highest point indicates as Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro issued a grave and direct warning to the American people, urging them to unite with Venezuela to prevent another prolonged conflict in the Americas. His impassioned plea comes as the United States, under the direction of President Donald Trump and Secretary of Defense Peter Hegseth, officially unveiled Operation Southern Spear, a major military campaign ostensibly targeting narco-terrorist networks across the Caribbean. The operation represents the largest U.S. military buildup in the region since the 1989 invasion of Panama and involved a significant escalation of force, including over 20 lethal strikes on boats, expanded naval patrols, and the deployment of advanced military assets. President Maduro and his defense leadership have condemned the operation as a thinly veiled pretext for forcing regime change in Caracas. In response, Venezuela has initiated a full national military mobilization, placing an estimated 200,000 troops on high alert and activating missile units, warships, and millions of militia reservists for nationwide defense drills. The situation has been further inflamed by a series of high-level meetings held by Trump administration officials over 3 consecutive days to discuss the Venezuela crisis, with the president ominously signaling to reporters that he has sort of made up his mind on the course of possible action. Maduro, in a fiery address during the meeting of jurists in defense of international law in Caracas, accused Washington of dragging the region towards an endless war and asked whether U.S. leaders wanted to create another Gaza in South America. He urged Americans to stop the crazed hand of those he claims are violating international law and reviving imperialist and colonialist sentiment. With U.S. warships, including the USS Gerald R. Ford, patrolling the Western Atlantic and F-35 jets deployed to the region, the war clouds gathering over the Caribbean are growing darker by the day, pushing regional stability to the absolute brink of a direct military confrontation between the U.S. and Venezuela. The geopolitical chessboard in the Western Hemisphere has been dramatically reconfigured by the U.S. military aggressive posture, a move that has drawn a sharp response from Russia and signaled a deepening of global rivalry. A cornerstone of the new U.S. strategy is the reactivation of the long-dormant Roosevelt Roads Naval Station in Puerto Rico. The base, a massive facility originally opened in 1943 and shuttered in 2004, is now fully operational again after 20 years, marking a major strategic shift in the Caribbean power balance. Reports indicate that its vast 11,000-foot runway is already being used by helicopters and heavy transport aircraft, making it one of 5 active U.S. military locations in Puerto Rico. This move, combined with the deployment of 10 F-35 jets to the island and the presence of 7 additional warships operating across the Caribbean as part of Operation Southern Spear, has created a formidable projection of American military power on Venezuela's doorstep. Russia has forcefully condemned the U.S. campaign, blasting it as a war on drugs turned war on sovereign nations, and warning that the unilateral American military actions risk triggering much wider and more dangerous confrontations. Moscow has reaffirmed its close strategic ties with the Maduro government in Venezuela, a clear signal of its intent to counter U.S. influence in the region. The escalating tensions are not confined to the Caribbean. A Russian intelligence ship, the Karolia, was recently detected operating near Hawaii, prompting a swift, safe overflight response from the U.S. Coast Guard. This encounter in the Pacific highlights the global nature of the rivalry, as both powers push for influence and conduct intelligence operations far from their own shores. The convergence of a massive U.S. military buildup near Venezuela, Caracas, full-scale military mobilization, and Russia's vocal opposition and strategic posturing has created an extremely volatile and unpredictable situation, where a single miscalculation could ignite a major international conflict. If you have made it this far, congratulations, you have unlocked the truth. I want to ask you a quick question though. The U.S. has launched Operation Southern Spear, its largest military buildup in the Caribbean since 1989, reactivating bases and deploying advanced warship and jets just off Venezuela's coast. President Maduro has responded by mobilizing his entire military and has issued a direct warning to the American people to stop a prolonged conflict, with President Trump signaling he has sort of made up his mind on a course of action and Russia condemning the operation. Are we witnessing the prelude to another major war in the Americas? Is this a necessary operation to combat narco-terrorism or a dangerous provocation? And why? Join the debate. We want to hear your insightful opinion on where this is all heading in our community. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, subscribe. And one more thing, guys. I want to take a moment to address a question some of you may have. Why don't I use video clips in my contents? First and foremost, my goal is to create a sustainable channel that you can depend on for now and to ensure its stability for the long term. Navigating YouTube's copyright systems can be incredibly challenging, especially trying to get a hold of a YouTube agent. It is very stressful and time-consuming. The platform has strict policies regarding the use of others' video content, which can lead to copyright strikes, warning, and even the permanent disabling of a channel, which leads to recreating a new YouTube channel after it has been permanently disabled. And trying to get back the number of fans that I used to have is frustrating. While it's possible to get permission from creators, the process can be time-consuming and doesn't always guarantee a timely response, which could delay bringing you the up-to-date news content you are here for. So, now, to avoid these potential headaches and stress, and to ensure this channel remains a reliable source of information for the long term, I've made the deliberate choice to focus on original content and commentary without relying on third-party video clip footage. I understand this might not be the typical format you see on YouTube, but I believe that by focusing on high-quality, original reporting, my channel will go a long way. Together, we can build a strong, faithful, and loyal community. I'm incredibly grateful and relieved now that you understand why I do not use video clips from other content creators. Thank you for being a part of this journey, and share this video if you find it helpful. I'll see you guys in the next one.